3 Scariest place on Earth.
Number 1.
Deadman's Island, England. This little island near the Isle of Sheppey in the county of Kent, lying in Medway estuary where the Swale meets the river. Like any bona fide creepy island, it is off limits to the general public. But why would this place in the so-called Garden of England be creepy, save its name? For once, the name really does say it all. About 200 years ago, England had a real issue with where they could house the nation's prisoners. Jails were full and you couldn't just hang everyone. Given that Britain's empire spanned the globe, there were a lot of ships going back and forth. So prison hulks were born, large ship that would house prisoners prior to shipping them off to some far-flung corner of the world, like the one alluded to in the opening of Dickens' Great Expectations. Deadman's Island is covered with the bones of many such men and boys, probably those who died of disease aboard the cursed ships. Amongst the rocky outcrops, sand and shells on the island, you'll just as likely spot a jawbone, femur or an eyeless skull staring back at you. Great fishing spot, though.
Number 2.
Graveyards are inherently creepy. This graveyard does not house moldering corpses under the ground, though. Rather, it's a sort of above-ground graveyard for Soviet-era Russian and Cuban aircraft. Pearls was Grenada's first airport, opening in 1943 before quickly being taken by the Allied forces as a military airbase during the Second World War. By 1979, the Grenadian government had been taken over by a Marxist-Leninist party named the New Jewel Movement. Over the next few years, Grenada looked like many tin-pot communist states, rife with corruption, coups and extrajudicial murders. This prompted the USA to invade. During the American occupation of Grenada in the early 80s, the airport was captured by the 8th Marine Regiment and used as their base of operations. The creepiness here is that the disused airport serves as a reminder of a bloody invasion, a totalitarian regime and a time the world nearly went up in flames.
Number 3.
Truby King Recreation Reserve, New Zealand. The name of this place doesn't exactly make the hairs on anybody's neck stand on end. It sounds like the sort of place you'd love to have a picnic with your family. Try this one, the Seacliff Lunatic Asylum. Creepier? Good, because that's exactly the place that used to exist on this nature reserve, and it's creepy as hell. There are plenty of abandoned and renovated mental institutions you can visit all over the world, and they're plenty creepy. There is something really disquieting about a place where a mental hospital used to stand. There is not much chance of a hokey, ghost hunterish, manufactured jumpfest here. It feels sad, haunted by real pain and the crimes of long-dead patients. One such person was Edward Lionel Terry, an Englishman who murdered a destitute Chinese migrant named Joe Kum Young in 1905. The asylum also suffered a fatal fire which ripped through Ward 5 in 1942, killing all but 2 female patients. Not much of the original building remains, but that adds to the eeriness, conjuring images of lost souls wandering the grounds looking for their bed.